All right, guys, we're back again with another absolutely incredible Oompaville video. People keep sending me this stuff, but what really caught my eye on this one is that this is the thumbnail. Daniel Larson. So now I'm clickbaited, okay? Now I feel like I have to watch this. I have to. It's by law. I have to watch this video. So I'm going to give it a watch. It's called Do Not Google This, and it's from Oompaville.
Googled something that you regretted Googling almost immediately after. Cleared your history and then hope that you weren't put on any lists that you already weren't on before because you have had a past sketchy history of Googling things that you probably should not Google. Well, I have. This show is dedicated for people like you and me. People who...
That's very intense.
Aren't that smart, who Google stuff you just shouldn't Google. Do not...
Listen, I Google. Jesus. I Google everything, man. Like, I just want to know stuff, so I try to Google everything.
Not Google Brian Walsh's leaked browser history.
Who's Brian Walsh?
Brian Walsh, this guy, who does in fact look quite disheveled because he claims he had nothing to do with the disappearance of his wife earlier this year, January.
Yeah. If my wife ever goes missing, it is my fault. Just letting you know that right now. Okay. I just couldn't deal with it anymore. I couldn't deal with her anymore.
January 1st, it all happened. Brian was taken into custody for suspicion of murdering his wife because he's a likely suspect. The husband or wife of a missing partner is always a likely suspect. Police now believe that he disposed of her remains through a trash incineration company.
Damn.
A trash bag into a
Sounds like a mafia type thing, huh?
dumpster, and then it was incinerated. They have not found any of her remains yet. But what they did find is his browsing history, which is an absolute bruh moment when you are a murderer to not be more careful of what you're Googling, especially.
What did he Google? Like, what temperature does it take for bones to turn to dust? Like,
if you don't want to get caught.
At 4:55 a.m. on January 1st, he searched how long before a body starts to smell.
Damn. I'll tell you, 32 years. Okay, because I'm stinking. I'm stinky today.
At 4:58 a.m., how to stop a body from decomposing.
Wow.
At 5:47
Put him in the freezer, right?
a.m., 10 ways to dispose of a dead body.
Why? What are you going on to, like, one of those Quora or whatever, like questionnaires? How 10 ways to think? What are you doing, bro? Just put on incognito mode. What is wrong with you? Holy moly!
If you really need to.
It said LOL.
A.m., 10 ways to dispose of a dead body if you really need to.
This Boston girl's going crazy. It reminds me of Michaela, even though that's a fake accent. LOL. If you really need to. LOL. Did she LOL? That's what we need to hear.
How long for someone to be missing? Can you throw away body parts? What does formaldehyde do?
Dude went on
What is formaldehyde?
a broken English journey for knowledge after murdering his wife. Do not Google any of those things either, my friends.
Watch Mojo.
This is unbelievable,
Identification
dude.
be made on partial remains.
What a sick
At
bastard.
11:34 a.m., dismemberment and the best ways to dispose
Look
of
how
the body.
insane he looks too.
I probably would have probably looked these up before I killed my wife. I'm just saying. I would never do that.
At 11:34,
Hey, why didn't you just read it?
Completely self-reporting it himself. And he just kept on Googling it until the police came. How to get rid of body. How to not go to jail after obviously being the one to murder my poor wife. Ironically enough, it seems like his do not Google results are going to be what is the slam dunk for the case to make sure that he goes to jail for the rest of his life and never gets to see the light of day again for murdering his wife. I'm pretty excited to see what his defense attorney will say about all that. Someone broke into the house and they were Googling. They just started Googling. They just started looking things up. They said, what should you not Google? And then they just started Googling all of it. Do not Google eating live animals.
Why? What's wrong with that?
This is one that's kind of surprising that it's even a thing that's on the internet that exists and people are just kind of fine with. It seems like it's most
What was that, a frog?
surprising that it's even a thing that's on the internet that exists and people are just kind of fine.
A frog I found aside. No, don't do that. Unless you're going to bite its head so that it dies instantly. That's horrible.
Fine with. It seems like it's mostly people who aren't American though. Mostly, it's like a cultural thing. Maybe so. I don't know. I'm just regular guy from Virginia who lives in America. To me, this seems weird to eat live animals.
I didn't think Virginia was part of America.
Okay, this is a very bizarre thing.
Wow. What? It's alive? Bro, Asians are doing way too much. Okay. I'm sorry, but it's fucking true. You got to stop. You guys got to stop. All right. It's too much. You guys, you're killing me. This thing is alive.
It's called a yin and yang fish. It's a Chinese delicacy, and it's
What'd I say? That's crazy, bro. Come on.
basically a phenomenon in which a fish is deep fried, its body is deep fried, and its eyes still function. Its head, and it goes.
Oh, wait. Is it not really alive? That's still horrible. Kill it before you deep fry it.
Which I do say they're annoying. You know, those are some pretty annoying fish, but it's kind of weird that it's dead and alive.
Oh, maybe it's just muscle spasms. Okay.
Seems unnecessary. The point of the yin and yang fish is to eat a fish that is still alive, basically.
Is a controversial dish where the body of a fish is cooked while the head is kept fresh so that it moves its mouth and eyes while it's being eaten. From fish that smells like public toilet to a cheese as hard as rock and even a fish head stuffed pie. The world is full of weird foods. Oh, they think that they're the cheese that's there's like a really gross cheese that like has maggots in it. So is it alive or not? Like, or is it just like muscle spasms? How do you survive getting deep fried? That's crazy. Is it alive? I'm hoping that it's actually dead. So Z King, thank you so much for the 3-month membership. They don't make criminals like they used to. True.
The internal organs are fine. Just the outside flesh is cooked and the skin is cooked and it's really weird. It's really strange. All right, it's very strange. There's an entire channel on YouTube too that eats a lot of live stuff. It's Soyoung or something.
Stop it. Come on, bro.
Something. She's a Korean mukbanger. Very good content. Very good. Except for when it's living. Then it's not that good. Then it's freaky. It freaks me out and it looks funny. And she's always sucking on these damn things. Soyoung.
Oh, I saw something like that on a different website. This picture?
Then it's not that good. Then it's freaky. It freaks me out and it looks funny. And she's always sucking.
Sorry, I'm laughing because I paused the video and it was silent in my house for a moment, and my wife is taking a bath below me. All right, not blowing me, below me, like on the floor below me, and she goes, "Yeah!" Like she's singing down there, but she sings funny and weird sometimes. Like she just like vocalizes and yells. It's interesting. It just made me giggle. But yeah, I've saw something like this before. On a different website.
On these damn things. Soyoung doesn't eat many living things nowadays, but it's kind of what blew her up and got her on the map for ASMR/mukbang content. She's eating live shrimp and octopus. There's no way that's healthy. I've seen Naked and Afraid, or not Naked and Afraid. What's that one? The one where they eat stuff and they die. Monsters Inside Me.
Wow.
Dude, I once ate a raw crayfish when I was like a kid, and I still think there's prions in my brain. Eating me from the inside out.
Maybe.
I feel like here she is eating.
Maybe that's what gave him autism.
Shrimp.
The joke, obviously. Sorry.
It really doesn't look that yummy. It looks like I would rather eat it when it's cooked. Oh, rip its head. What are you when?
I like how she pretends that she's horrified by this, but she's probably done this like 100 times. Nobody does their first time eating a live animal like live, okay? Or nobody does their first time eating an animal live. All right, she's probably been like, yeah, fuck it, blah, 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 blah. And then she's like, oh, guys, fuck, this is crazy. It is crazy, but I know you've done it before. I could see it in your eyes. Nobody rips a live creature in half like that and consumes the lower half of its body like a fucking animal in the way like that if they've never done it before. This is my first. Oh, this is crazy. You fucking and then like just eating it. She didn't even take the shit out of its ass. Okay, you have to take the poop out of the shrimp, bro. I'm being serious, dude. Or else my wife yells and won't eat it. You gotta use a toothpick. That's why you should probably get it deveined and stuff. But.
It's just raw shrimps. What about if it's cooked though? What about just cooking it? I love the one of her eating a live octopus as well. That one's funny. That one's like a release, my friend. Release.
Terrible. I can hear the bluefish crab breathing. Damn, you're a monster. You're a fucking monster. The only thing that makes this not that bad is that they're insects. Because that's really what if you're eating a lobster, it's really just like a sea insect.
Then she just rips its skin off, scalps it, and then eats it whole.
God.
What it takes. It's bizarre. It just seems unnecessary to eat things that are still living. It doesn't seem exactly humane. There's an area of gray, obviously, because you're gonna eat it anyways. It's gotta die. But like, there's better ways to kill stuff than just to eat it while it's still living, you know? A question to ask would be, who is this dedicated to? Is this just like some weird shock and awe thing? Does the ASMR audience like to see living things?
Definitely shock and awe.
To be killed and hear it? Is that what is happening here? Or they like to watch a woman with white gloves and a backwards red hat speaking a foreign language and then kill stuff while it's still breathing? Maybe I don't know. This is weird, dude.
No, dude, stop. Why are you showing me so much? You're still sticking to the plate, to the thing. You hear that? Run!
Look at them in their ancient intelligence.
Run! Run away!
Look at the ancient intelligence of these creatures.
Oh my god. Could you just imagine? Like, it's just so sad. Imagine you were like, I know we kill animals every day, but I mean, oh my lord, this is just crazy. Oh my god! Holy shit! This is terrible. No.
Kind of sad. I do believe that octopi are quite smart. I mean, just to put it in a different perspective.
I guess not smart enough to avoid that.
Imagine a being from the Zeta Reticuli system coming down to Earth, devouring all of us whole while we're living, and uploading that to some sort of extraterrestrial social media platform with audiences in every corner of the galaxy. That would be fucked up too, wouldn't it?
Crazy.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Do not Google Daniel Larson.
Oh my god. Oh, you really should not. We need Daniel Larson to no longer be on the internet. All right, unironic danger to himself and others that needs to be that needs his phone taken away and needs to be put into like a group home. Okay, that's what really needs to happen.
I've been wanting to talk about this for a long time.
This is a message to Quandale Dingle.
This was one of his better messages.
You shouldn't be Googling Daniel Larson. You shouldn't be going down the rabbit hole.
Bro, this is so bad because Daniel Larson's just getting more and more popularity. And it's in the worst way because, like, Daniel Larson is another person with, like, an intellectual disability. He's got autism. I think he's schizophrenic as well. And this is what happens. It's a lolcow. There's a lot of people, especially with disabilities, people will watch them because they think that they're funny and stupid. That's what they think. And then they get them popular. And then those people get, like, really big heads because they're like, oh, my God, I must be, like, incredible. And then they just get relentlessly bullied. That's, like, their entire thing. And to doing bad things. Daniel Larson isn't a perfect person. I've talked about Daniel Larson a lot. I'll try to link the playlist into this description. But bro, it's insane. Like the shit it's just all over the place. You know, you got like him supposedly like liking pictures of little girls, but then you also his managers, little kids that only troll him, go in and like the pictures for him too, and then show him publicly. So we don't even know how much of it's him and how much of it is like the managers. And then he was like fucking manipulated into like showing his dick on alive to do porn, and then he was manipulated into leaving his home and going and being homeless in California because he thought he could be like really popular. And then all this is like led to him being like violent with other people around him because like he's so fucking delusional. It's incredibly insane. It's actually insane. Like he was bullied, like, bro, he's convinced that he's dating Grace VanderWaal, like somebody from America's Got Talent or whatever. So to the point where she is getting bullied by like people are going on her videos going like, oh, you've been Larson, you've just been Larson. He's convinced he's dating her, and anybody that says no, he like screams at them at the top of their lungs. There's like girls that are on lives that are like, oh my God, we know we're gonna tell Grace. So they like call a person and it's like a girl. It's like, oh, I'm Grace, Dan, you better come on this live, Daniel, or we're gonna. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. I mean, it's crazy. It's nuts.
Shouldn't be one of his trolls, one of his haters. You shouldn't be, Mr. President, we have an alert. There is an emergency, Mr. President. Whoop, 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 whoop. The man is mentally ill. The man needs help, and he's also so it's like.
Well, okay. Jesus Christ. That part we don't necessarily know. But he's mentally ill and does need help. So absolutely true. And he might be a fucking pedophile, honestly. That's not a good thing. You know, if it's different because he has a fucking disability. I don't think that he understands the world, not at all to the same way that we do. I mean, he's like a support needed individual. But goddamn, bro. Goddamn.
It's like a lot of things that are just kind of bad and that kind of come together, and then he uploads his entire life to TikTok, and there's a bunch of people who want to see the story continue, and it's basically just Chris Chan in 2023, but somehow not as bad, but also so. Do not Google Daniel Larson. Who is Daniel Larson? Well,
hello.
What happens if you do Google Daniel Larson? Let's see. Interesting.
My name is Daniel Larson.
He is a guy on the internet.
Do I look nice? Or do I look like a lizard who just came out of a shooting rabbit hole?
If you don't know anything about Daniel, he's been around on the internet for a long time. He's been talking about this character Grace VanderWaal for years on his platform.
I am sorry, Grace and Darcy.
He's obsessed with her. He loves her. He's been talking about her since she was a child, talking about her inappropriately.
Yeah, I think that there's a 5-year age gap. I'm pretty sure it's 5 years, just so that people are aware of that.
Very disgusting.
For asking.
Like, how old is Grace now? It doesn't make it appropriate. I'm just letting you know that, like, let me see. Grace. I think he's 23 now. How old is she? 19. Oh, it's 4 years. Oh, it's a 4-year age gap. It's still, it doesn't matter even if it's in like a decent age range because it's fucking psychotic the way that he like, he like harasses this girl and shit. But again, the trolls have a big part of this, like convincing him that they're actually dating. It's insane. The fact that the guy thinks that he's actually dating her because trolls are influencing him, that's all you really need to know about the mental state of this person.
For the videos of you guys pooping and the butt stuff.
And this is Grace VanderWaal, by the way, a real human being, a singer. Grace VanderWaal even at one point acknowledged how disgusting Daniel was and basically asked him to stop nicely. It's crazy.
I would
actually
Oh, I didn't even see this.
cry and take my child away and like move to another country and like live life in terror that that thing would find my child again.
All this information,
Jesus, is that actually you're talking
by
about?
the way, was on his Reddit, which has now been taken down and he's gone missing, which is like the 8th time he's gone missing. He recently went to jail too. He's got
Yeah, he should probably stay in jail, frankly. Like, he needs to be committed into like a fucking home, bro.
scabies. There was a rumor that he was a bioterrorist on FBI's Most Wanted.
I've been wearing these socks the entire time I've been here, and that's what my socks and my foot looks like.
This whole story, it's
Wow, for free?
a rabbit hole. You could make 15-hour-long documentaries on this guy. Dude's a creep too. He takes pictures of kids at Disneyland.
I've never seen that. How do we know that? Calling all Anaheim residents, a man from Colorado has recently been seen in multiple places like Disneyland, Panera Bread. How did he get into Disneyland so easily? You don't know, he is homeless and is an online reputation for being a creep. Daniel has also been live streaming and has been taking pictures of children in places like Starbucks. He's been in the area around a week now. He's in public garages. He's been countless restaurants and public places all over the past 3 days. Is that real?
Hour-long documentaries on this guy. Dude's
Is this real? The only reason like I'm skeptical is because there's so much like weird trolling shit out there that like I wonder if this is a troll posting about this and trying to pretend like they're like a fucking concerned citizen, because like you really cannot put it past them. But it also could be real. This is why this dude is like a danger. So he needs to be put into like a group home and not like be allowed to leave without a chaperone. He needs like fucking one-on-one support. Okay, like it's crazy. But it's hard to verify these because I can't see a name up here of who's saying it. This is why the situation is so fucked, because we don't know how much of it's trolling and how much of it's real. You know, especially since we have no picture of him taking pictures of kids. We have him just sitting there on his phone, like a like whatever.
creep too. He takes pictures of kids at Disneyland.
He might.
He's messaged a ton of minors. Like I mentioned, he had scabies. He
message a ton of minors. I've seen like the one message where it was somebody, probably his biggest troll. I'm not even gonna say their person's name. I'm not gonna give him the satisfaction. His biggest troll was apparently posed as a 14-year-old when Daniel, I think, was 20 or 21, and like had like a whole interaction. The problem is, again, it could be real, but it's hard to tell because we're talking about a troll who's like spent like their entire years trolling the shit out of Daniel Larson because they think it's funny. This is the problem, is like you can't take all the information as absolutely real. But you can understand that if you're somebody who's like trolling Daniel, you are part of the reason why people like Grace Vanderwall are getting harassed, because you're feeding into his delusion.
can't clean himself properly. There's a bunch of TikToks of him with just an obvious rash infection on his arm, which is disgusting. And it is an infectious disease. He needs to go to the doctor. He needs to get it sorted. He needs to accept help from a caretaker. And moving on to that, he's mentally unwell.
Yeah. He used to have one, but I think like left his disability services and like ran away. I guarantee you that if he was in New York, he wouldn't have been like able to run away. Different states have different like parameters for how well they treat people or how robust their systems are.
Hires a caretaker. He's had multiple different caretakers. He beat the shit out of his recent mentor and caretaker, Bob. Police were called. Terrible. He made himself bleed and then blamed Bob. He literally hit himself in his own face until he bled and blamed Bob. This poor guy.
Your fucking arm. You grabbed me.
I know Daniel has blown up a lot recently. Turkey Tom made a video not that long
it was a dog shit video. So
people are really starting to know who this guy is, and I feel like it's all going to end horribly.
And those videos that like get just an abysmal dog shit perspective on like what's going on it just kind of needs to stop. I mean, Jesus Christ, there is just a profound lack of understanding of like these types of situations. I mean, I'd say like overall Oompaville's perspective is decent, that he's like a fucking, like he's not well and he needs like a caretaker. That's 100% agree with that. But again, it's so difficult to know what is and isn't true with this whole situation, because like the trolls feed on this perspective. They feed on like how far they could push it and how bad they can make Daniel look and how fucked his life gets, and like how this dude's on the fucking street now with like fucking just, it's terrible. You know, in
my opinion, just like Christian. I mean, when you have,
there was a whole period where I tried just not to cover Daniel Larson because the trolls get satisfaction out of it, and unfortunately, like, you know, when Oompaville or Turkey Tom talks about it, especially when they do it like ignorantly in different ways, all it does is bring more attention and to Daniel Larson, and like it makes the trolls feel better about themselves. Like, oh, see, look at that, we got him there, and it empowers them. You know, so the reason that I want to talk about it is like, bro, like let's at least try to have the correct perspective on this topic. I'm not saying I know everything, but I do know that they are absolutely like, there are people who are pushing him in like such a fucking bizarre direction. We don't know how much is and isn't true. Like even the post that he showed there, it was like, oh, he's taking pictures of little girls. I wouldn't doubt that could be a real concerned citizen, Or it could be a troll just saying these things. He said we don't even get a picture of him doing something like that. He's just sitting on a fucking park bench.
A subject, and obviously the subject has some kind of ability to do bad things, like be it's going to end very, very, very poorly. And aside from that potential, he's had many caretakers. People try to help him. He gets kicked out of the caretakers' homes.
Okay, so I have an update. So I am now kicked back out, living on the street again.
He argues with everyone that he interacts with. He destroys property.
True.
You guys are supposed to call my entertainment manager if people are coming on the front porch, bringing deliveries.
Entertainment manager. He's fucking delusional, bro.
There's no more deliveries coming here.
Or coming on.
He destroys property.
You guys are supposed to call my entertainment manager if people are coming on the front porch, bringing deliveries.
Fucking entertainment manager. Like, what?
Deliveries coming here.
Why the fuck did you guys show up on a week?
It's crazy. It's really, truly, truly wild. He's literally a criminal, too. He's stolen a lot of food. He's a known serial dine and dasher, which is illegal. He begs on
No kidding, huh?
TikTok. That's where all of his money comes from.
Okay, just to let you guys know, I'm getting close to the turn of the month where I have all my bills that I have to pay. So by the end of today, I would have over $100 in bills that I have to pay.
Wow, that's not too bad. $100. Probably because he's fucking homeless.
And at least in one instance of dine and dashing, he's gotten arrested. And like I said, with loitering before, does that a lot. Get kicked out of Planet Fitness on February 10th for loitering in the bathroom.
I said, give me a second.
Locked himself in a stall in the bathroom, threatens the employees. He's got some kind of paranoia.
And I feel bad for like the employees and shit that deal with him too. Like I'm not like Daniel's not. Daniel's. I'm gonna be real. Daniel is not a particularly good person. Okay, I want people to be very clear. I'm not sitting here saying Daniel's like a good person, but I'm saying that Daniel is like a really good representation of somebody with a disability. It's probably that's one of the most person-centered things you can understand. Is people with disabilities doesn't mean that they're a good person by fucking default. But it's another person with a disability that gets relentlessly harassed and pushed to a place where he's going to end up like hurting people. And he has. And it's partially the troll's fault.
It's where he accuses people of spying on him.
I would kindly leave on myself, but
You haven't left this whole time? You have not left this whole time? Please go.
But I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna leave if people are threatening me.
You don't work here. You literally have to leave. I'm about to cancel your membership.
Yeah, she just called the cops, honestly.
The point is, do not Google Daniel Larson because you will find
You know people are Googling Daniel Larson now because of this.
very, very, very disturbing, messed up stuff that is just freaky as hell. Do not Google Tony Johns. Now, Tony Johns is a character on the internet. His name's Anthony Mike.
He's literally just a threat to nobody but no. He's a threat to himself and other people. Like when Grace Vanderwall's getting relentlessly harassed, or he's fighting with people like Bob Proctor, or he's a threat to himself and other people. He needs to be committed to a group home and not allowed to leave. He needs to have his support, his level of support increased. Like he's very behavioral. He needs to go to a facility for like, very behavioral people, frankly. Like he's fucked up. Like he's fucked up, and social media has fucked him up worse. It's not good. Like he needs a higher level of support. It's fucked, bro. It's really fucked.
Johns. He is a bit of a ladies' man on the internet. You may
Looks
have
like
seen him.
it,
There's
baby.
a couple memes going around of
I like the AirPods.
him.
I'm wearing this fucking yellow fucking weird thing. Is my ass is gonna be doing community service for the state of Utah.
Nice. Sounds like a real nice fella.
Ooh, I got a DUI, baby.
Kind of an interesting guy, to be honest. Guy used to have a thriving community years ago. Now there's not much but a trace left of him on the internet. And when he had a following, he was followed by people who would follow him ironically because it's absurd.
Yeah,
There's
lol cow.
so many things that are just pushing the limit when you follow Tony Johns, when you look him up, when there's content of Tony that you see out there. All right?
Bro, you know what's fucking nuts though? I feel like I'm fucking Daniel Larson's online handler. Like, I mean, not to be an asshole, but get ready for the bingo. I don't know. I have like a softer spot for people with like disabilities and shit now because my wife works with them, like adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And so, like, now part of me is like, fuck. Like, I used to be the guy that would troll the shit out of Daniel Larson. I'm not trying to be a guy. I'm not trying to be an asshole, but that's, like, who I would have been back in the day. And now it's like, damn, like, I understand how these people struggle. And, like, intensely. I've seen it, like, firsthand. Like, I've gone to the group homes with my wife before, and we talk about these things. We talk about the different protocols, the different struggles that some of these individuals go through. Like, it's crazy. It's so sad, like some of the things that some of like these individuals like go through. If I could really communicate it to you, you would be like, wow, like my wife will come home having a rough day because my wife really likes the people she works with, like that she supports. Like she's a good person and like she takes the value in her job, and like she'll come home and she'll be like, this thing happened to this person today, and it's just so sad. And she'll explain. I'm like, fuck, man, like that's horrible. And I don't want to be too specific, but like there's times where you have somebody like maybe they hear somebody that's a nonverbal person with autism, and they're just hanging out, they're just chilling, chilling. But they have like their headphones on, they're listening to their iPad, they're just hanging out, and they're in a group home, so there's multiple people that are frustrated or struggling, and somebody in the next room is having a behavioral attack where they're screaming. They're having their own struggle, they're frustrated about something, they struggle to communicate, and that screaming just like upsets the other person so much that's just minding their own business. And they have such a struggle communicating that they take their headphones off and they just start violently smacking themselves in the ears. And they just like boom, boom, and they're just hurting themselves. And it's like because they don't know how to get it to stop. They don't know how to disconnect. They don't know what to do. It's so fucking sad, bro. It's like fundamentally speaking, a lot of these individuals that are higher support needed, like it's just the whole life is just fucked. Like, think about this. In order for you to like be put in a group home for a lot of these people is one of two things. Either one, their parents can't support them because it's very difficult dealing with a behavioral child or as a child with a disability plus a behavioral issue oftentimes. Or they're in there because they don't love them and they're a burden. They want to get them out of the house. And so now you're in a situation. And of course, you have a different struggle with the world. And so you need supervision. But because of that supervision, like, now you don't really have full agency or freedom over yourself. And if you did, you would get yourself hurt. You'd be like Daniel Larson running around the street, like fucking just attacking people and being a fucking creep. So they lose autonomy, even though it makes sense for them to lose that agency. But it still sucks. And then these individuals, they develop close relationships with their support staff, the DSPs. If they even like them. Some DSPs are assholes and don't like their people. But there are ones that do. And now you're in the house. And that's like your family. You develop a familial love, a familial, you know what I'm saying? A family type love with the support staff. And, if you're having a bad day and you need a hug from a support staff, you're not allowed to, you can't. The support staff has to say no because, they don't want the relationship to get inappropriate. Mostly because the support staff might leave and some of these people don't understand how to cope with like somebody that they perceive as family leaving. So they try not to get too close. So they're not allowed to get close. But just imagine not being able to get a hug from like a family member from your perspective. How fucking sad. Or they develop like a family bond with the other people that are supported in the house. And let's say somebody in the house has to go to the hospital because something bad happened. Guess what? It's a HIPAA violation if you're told why they went to the hospital. So now imagine somebody you think is like think of as your brother is in the hospital and you just don't know why. It's like sucks. Imagine, okay, a lot of these individuals are deemed non-consenting because they don't understand consent. They'll ask them questions that fall in line with like the idea of like, if Dave buys you a hamburger, do you have to fuck Dave? And then they're like, yeah, but if you say that, you can't consent because that's obviously not how the world works. So that they don't get hurt, they're deemed non-consenting. That just means you're not allowed to have sex. I know that sounds so trivial, but that's like people with disabilities are the same as us. They get fucking horny, bro. Okay? And then they can't have sex. It's fucked. And then because like the infrastructure is so lacking because there's like so many different issues and it's hard to like get DSPs that stay on and it's hard to get the infrastructure. Like they can't even get some of them don't even get reevaluated when they may be able to consent. Because there's just so many other things going on, right? And then think about this. These people fall in love sometimes. Hot take, they're people. And a lot of times, or sometimes, it's with people in other houses, in other group home communities. Which means you only get to see them maybe once a week. Maybe you get like a once a week date night and you want to hang out with your special someone. So imagine that. You just only get to see them once a week, or once a month, once every other week. The person you love, like you can't even hang out with them every day. You know what I mean? Like, that's sad. And then, if you get married, you lose all of your financial supports that keep you alive. So you can't even get married. You're denied, like, such fundamental, basic freedoms It sucks, man. Like, that's the struggle that these people are going through. And I know I went on a little bit of a tangent, but that's why it's frustrating. And Oompaville didn't do any of this at all, but that's why it's frustrating when you hear some people say, oh, well, I have autism, I can say the R slur. Because your autism doesn't distress you in a way like so many other people that are higher support needed that are truly offended and destroyed by that word. A word that's been used to suppress people, that's been used to diagnose people and put them in an institutionalized setting where they are systematically raped, tortured, and abused. And that's a real thing. And there are people who are still alive today that came out of those conditions, those horrible, terrible, hurtful conditions, that have horrible traumas. There are people who can't get their routine can't speak. Jesus, why can't I say oh my God, they're vagina exams. Gynecological? What's wrong with me? I can't speak words today. Gynecological exams, because they have suppressed deep-seated sexual abuse that they can't even express, which means that person got away with it. You know, like, fuck. And so, like, that's where the advocacy comes from. And every time I talk about this, I'm like, go to a group home, go talk to these people, experience them. You're probably not going to. Go look up on YouTube right now, Jubilee Down syndrome. Watch the first minute and a half of that. They ask those people about the usage of the R word, and they're like, I don't like this. Sorry, I couldn't say that word. But like, these are the things that frustrate me. We have such a bad representation of people with like different with disabilities on the internet. Because I have ADHD, and I've struggled with it, and I have like tics, and I have my own issues. I have ADHD. It's very difficult for me to organize. Like, it was very difficult for my mother to raise me. I had to be raised like a fucking very uniform. Like, my mother was almost like my boss, because like she had to be very strict, and like you need a lot of guidance, and I was on like Ritalin, and that fucked me up, and it's hurt my ability to make relationships sometimes, and I have something. I probably have OCD, and I know I'm not self-diagnosing, but I know that I have tics and I have different compulsions. And I know that, like, if I don't kiss my wife enough times before she leaves, that I think she's going to die. And I know that but multiple times when I'm standing up, I have to check the doors, and I have to make sure I touch the top and the bottom lock multiple times, usually in sets of 5, or else I think someone's going to, like, hurt me or break in, because somebody broke into my house once. And then I do the back door too, and it's just like back and forth. There's times where I'm up doing it for like a half an hour. The only thing that stops is my wife coming out of bed and saying, "Hey, like, we're okay." And she'll check the doors. She'll say, "I checked them. We're okay." It's fucked. Like, that sucks. Like, I have struggles of my own, but like, that doesn't compare at all to being in a group home setting and like not being able to do all these things that I just communicated to you. So it's like, fuck. It's like, goddamn. It's fucked, bro. Because I know a lot of times when I'll talk about it, like, I see people get upset when I talk about Daniel Larson. Like, you're excusing too much behavior. It's like, I'm not. I'm really just trying to have the right conversation. Because I care more about these topics than you in a deeper way. And, like, I'm trying to bring that understanding to other people. Because I've been the guy at a certain point who didn't care or didn't value people with disabilities. And I think that that's a very normal perspective to have. But as I've talked to my wife and I got to know her,
super chatted $2. I'll be heading out.
Very
good night,
good.
Papa and everyone.
Have a good night, brother. Take care. And as I've educated myself. I've realized how wrong I was. And I think that like the normalized usage on the internet of like the R slur, like that's one of those things where like if you're very brazen about using that word on the internet, you probably don't respect people with disabilities as much as you might say you do. So, yeah, man. Sorry for the tangent, but like I just feel like these are the types of conversations that are like super important. It's just there's a lot going on. So I know people get upset with me about the whole Daniel Larson thing and like, oh, blah, 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 blah. But I just don't give a shit anymore about negative attention. Like if some people I think are listening and go like, okay, that makes sense. And that's why like the take to have on Daniel Larson is he's a danger to himself and other people, and he needs to be taken off the streets, and he needs to be put into more robust supports, and he needs to not be able to go on his phone, and he needs to not be left to his own devices in public. Because if Daniel Larson is a pedophile, and you can't say for sure that he is. All right, like I'm not, because we don't know how much of the information is real or not. But if he is one, it's not the same as somebody his age without a disability. There's a fundamental lack of understanding of a lot of the situations going on in the world. If you're somebody who can get manipulated by children online into thinking that you're dating a celebrity or that they are actually representatives of Sony Entertainment, if you can get bullied into leaving your house and going and being homeless in California, you are not operating with the same capacity mentally than the average person. So, like, understand that. I understand that. I'm just saying.
Since his heyday, he has disappeared from the internet, but there is a Reddit that has basically everything he's ever done still up on it. It's called Shit Tony Says. He looks kind of like Boomhauer from King of the Hill. If Boomhauer went to Rutgers for 1 semester and then Daddy's money ran out. He looks like he really likes NSYNC a lot. He never really made a lot of content, but if you look up the content that he did make, it's a lot of bad stuff. Degeneracy, there's videos of him doing horrible things that I'll try to illustrate in a way without getting demonetized. All right.
And now the end is...
Is he putting on a condom?
Now just speed that up real quick, and you know what I mean. The guy was always in and out of jail.
Jerking off?
I love this.
Walking these halls, baby. Woo, just got out of jail. Woo, the footsteps, baby, let's go. It's the weekend. It is like 7 o'clock, baby. I just got out of jail. Woo, just got out of jail, baby. Let's go.
Just got out of jail. Woo. Thank you, Tony. Thank you. He's got quite a few DUIs. He's kind of known for his DUIs. He's like, you know, what Ronald McDonald is to McDonald's, to DUIs. Dude.
He's a spokesman for DUIs. Wow. Incredible.
Also posts his phone number on his Reddit, or posted his phone number on his Reddit when he was active so many times with his ID, showing his age, showing some contraceptives with his identification, and it's awesome. Oh wait, 26, 1996, big.
Whoa.
25, it's my birthday. Hope everyone has a great time. If any girls want to grab dinner tonight at Chili's, let me know, I'm buying. Have a great day, everyone.
You know, I'm gonna be real, because these are Magnum condoms are for really big wigglers, right? I've finally gotten to a point in my life where I finally realized that it would be a curse to have a huge penis. And you might say, well, that's probably good. That's a cope. That's it. Listen, I'll speak for real. First of all, I'm a grower, not a shower. And there are, as a man, that can make you feel a little self-conscious. Okay? But, you know, I feel like that a huge dick, not every girl is going to be able to fit that. And I feel like the only girl that will really be able to take a huge penis is a girl with a huge vagina. And I would imagine that is a girl who enjoys a lot of those interactions. And I feel like I have a penis that it's easier to fuck more girls with. You could say it's a cope, but like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. You know? I've only hurt one person with my wee-wee, and that's my wife. And, you know, like, I'm getting it's all overshare. I'm just saying, bro, it would be a curse. It's too big, you know? And plus, if you think about it like this, who cares how women feel? Okay, I don't. So mine fits into anything, but a big guy, he's not going to be able to fit into that girl. He can't go balls deep, bro. I can in anything. I don't care about female pleasure. Those are losers. Only losers care about women's pleasure. So I'm blessed. I'm truly blessed. Guys. Bless up. Remember before we were talking about how I don't like think before I speak? We're looking at that's that happened here. So sorry guys. My wife's screaming at me in the chat. Guys.
And then proceeds
pretend
to
none of that
find
happened.
his phone number and go. That's not how you spell Chili's. It's possessive, you bitch. Dude's absolutely wild. But he did use his own subreddit for valid purposes. One thing that I love about Tony myself is his signature on his ID.
Wow. Is he Jersey Shore?
Look at that. That's pretty cool. Dude loves saying crazy stuff about women as well, which is pretty cool. And this is basically illegal to even just say.
I love to get girls drunk and take advantage of them.
Jesus Christ. Why would you say that? Oh my God. Holy fuck. Oh my God. Jesus. Why? What a fucking idiot. Jesus.
No, but deadass, I really do. Anyway.
What? You can't even say it's a joke anymore. Oh my God.
I mean, what?
Oh my God.
Yeah, hey, bud, that's weird. Yeah, hey, bud, that's illegal, Tony Johns. You just admitted to, like, something illegal. I believe that's just kind of illegal right there.
That's got to be some kind of sexual assault. Yeah.
Makes sense, though.
Like, getting girls drunk and taking advantage of them is different from I like to go with drunk. Like, if you're both drunk, that's one thing. But getting a girl drunk... I mean, obviously it's wrong. All right, we don't have to go with it.
He doesn't look too good in that photo. Look like he just had a bad spray tan. Back during COVID, Tony, he didn't really seem to care all that much about the virus. In fact, here's a message that he had to give to it.
This COVID-13 virus ain't got shit on me, baby.
Wow,
Come on.
damn.
It's like jarring. It's jarring to watch. Genuinely.
Incredible.
Jarring. There you go. There's a few
Incredible
things
stuff.
you shouldn't Google. Leave some suggestions that we should do some research into for the next video. And also,
That was the greatest Hustlers University graduate I've ever seen.
buy the merch at oompa.shop, my friends. And I will see you all in the next video.
Okay. Cardi B. Cool.
I want Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.